Good day. Thank you for tuning in to this general election candidate forum for Olympia School Board Director District 2. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and TCTV. The League is a nonprofit, nonpartisan political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature. Despite its name, the League is open to both men and women of voting age. I'm Peggy Murphy from the League, and I'll be moderating this forum. The candidates for this position are Jessica Reveles and Joellen Wilhelm. The candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then I'll ask them questions in alternating order. The person first asked the question will have 2 minutes to respond, followed by 1 minute from the other candidate. And there'll be a 1 minute for closing statements at the end. Okay, and we will begin with opening statements and start with Joellen.
Hello. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and TCTV for hosting this event. As an Olympia resident, I have a profound respect for the sense of community that's at the foundation of this place that we call home. My decision to run for school board is based on a commitment to this community, a commitment to social justice, and a commitment to engage in meaningful conversations with students, families, teachers, and community members. For students in our district, I will work to ensure that we continue to attract quality teachers through competitive pay, and that students gain valuable face time with teachers through implementation of the class size reduction measures, and that our elementary students especially have more access to visual and music art programs. I come to this work as a parent of 2 young children. I bring a depth of experience, including serving as a Peace Corps volunteer, earning a master's in public administration from Evergreen, and working at Grubb as a development coordinator. In my current work, I am a grant writer, and I work hard with organizations to synthesize their strategic goals into a competitive grant narrative. I'm a community volunteer and currently volunteer at the Downtown Y and at my daughter's elementary school. This past summer, I visited over 18 schools in our district and met with administrators. I was impressed by what I saw and heard. These visits were an important step to understanding the educational landscape. Sound policy decisions require understanding the resources available and the facilities we have. My experiences and expertise will serve me well as I work with the community to create policy that reflects our values and leads to success for all our students.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, your opening statement.
Hi, I'm Jessica Reveles. I'm running for school board. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and TCTV for hosting. So I have been an Olympia resident for 16 years, a total of 16 years. And I'm also deeply committed to this community. My husband and I moved here partly because we knew the schools were a great place for our kids to go, or would be, and because of the strength of our community. We now have 2 kids. I have a 2nd grader and a 5th grader at Lincoln Elementary. And I come to this position because I'm an idealist. I've worked as an environmental lawyer. I studied at Evergreen, and then I went to law school to become an environmental lawyer, a public interest environmental lawyer. And after doing that for a few years, decided to have kids, move to Olympia, and stay home with them. And I've been a stay-at-home mom since they've been born, and I'm thus able to spend a lot of time in the schools, in their school, volunteering with them and getting to know the other parents and the administrators and the teachers there. Right now I'm the president of the Parent-Teacher Council at Lincoln, Elementary, and a group of parents on the council convinced me that I should run for school board, and I thought it was a great way for me to give back to the community, for me to facilitate conversations between the parents and the students and the board and the district administration. I want to, as a school board member, I want to provide the support and guidance necessary for all students to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now for the questions. And remind you, the first person asked the question has 2 minutes and the other one will have 1 minute.
Right.
Okay, Joellen, let's start with you. What curriculum changes, if any, would you advocate for the Olympia School District?
So I'm very supportive of the Bridges math curriculum that has been implemented this past school year. And I know that in the years ahead, hopefully not the current fiscal year, but the one following, we'll be implementing a new language arts curriculum. And so I think that's an important step, and I think that we can do that using input from the teachers we have in our schools and parents and the community. And I think updating that curriculum will be an important next step for the district.
Okay, Jessica, do you want me to repeat the question?
Sure, it was new curriculum, but what was exactly?
What curriculum changes, if any, would you advocate for Olympia School District?
Well, I'm also really pleased with the new Bridges math curriculum. I think that we need to trust teachers a little bit more about the pacing of the curriculum because they know their students. I want teachers to be able to teach students and not curriculum. Some additions that I would bring, I'm actually not familiar with what is entailed with the language arts curriculum, the new one that's coming in, but hopefully it's as good as Bridges. I would love some foreign language. It seems like it's a real missing piece for us in Olympia. It's shocking to me, actually, that our kids aren't being taught any foreign languages in elementary and middle.
Okay, thank you. Okay, second question then, Jessica, we'll go to you first on this one. Okay, the value of testing in the schools is currently an issue with many parents and school analysts. Where do you stand on this issue?
Well, this is something I've thought about a lot, and this is also one of the reasons I'm running for the board. Standardized testing has been a huge issue all over this country, and over the past couple of years, we've been struggling at Lincoln to try and figure out how standardized testing works with an alternative education that's supposed to be based on meeting kids where they're at in a non-competitive atmosphere. I think that standardized testing can be a great tool for comparing schools if you look at schools that have similar demographics, and so you can kind of see, you know, if the two schools are similar and you look at the testing data, then you can figure out, or you can at least start to ask questions about why one school might be doing better and another's not. However, too much emphasis on standardized testing narrows curriculums, and it doesn't give teachers enough control over what they're teaching to their kids and when they're teaching it to their kids. Standardized tests assess a limited set of skills. I want to know other things about our kids. I want to know, can the child think critically? Can she communicate with peers and with adults? Does she read for pleasure, for joy? Is she engaged with her environment and asking good questions? Is she committed to social justice? Those are all important questions that should be paramount in kids' educations. The punitive outcomes of the No Child Left Behind Act have really not served our kids well, and I would like to see some changes.
Okay, thank you. Joellen, I'll repeat the question for you. The value of testing in the schools is currently an issue with many parents and school analysts. Where do you stand on this issue?
So I value hands-on experiential learning, and I see standardized tests, they're a singular measure of student success or student learning, and they're not a complete picture of how schools are doing. The reality is that many of these tests are tied to federal and state mandates and are outside the control of the district decision-making process that I would be part of as a school board member. But I will work to provide an open dialogue with the community and parents around testing, and I will support district efforts to minimize unnecessary testing in our schools.
Okay, thank you. Joellen, we'll go to you with the next question. What more do you think the school district should do or can do to see that both verbal and physical student bullying and intimidation do not happen? 2 minutes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think the district should and can continue to work proactively. There's national guidelines for bullying prevention that can be best practices that we can turn to look at. This includes creating an environment for students and an atmosphere at the schools that's positive and supporting. And these guidelines also offer input and perspective on how to respond to when bullying occurs and give strategies. And these important strategies need to be culturally competent and do the work to build community and enhance communication.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, I'll repeat the question for you.
Thanks.
What more do you think the school district should do or can do to see that both verbal and physical student bullying and intimidation do not happen?
Well, I think it's super important to ensure that that is not happening to our kids. I think the best way to address bullying is to prevent it. And I think that the best way of doing that is to create a really strong community at a school. I like that at Lincoln, the kids come up with a classroom agreement. They come up with it themselves. They agree on what their strategies are going to be for how they're going to show respect to each other. So I think creating really strong communities at a school is a great way to start that process to minimize bullying. I think the other thing is that we should, and we are starting to have a system to anonymously report bullying so that kids can tell an adult when they see it happening, and then that can be, then the parties involved can work together with counselors to resolve the issue and to prevent it from happening in the future.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go to you then for the next question, Jessica. Other than K-12 funding, what do you see as the Olympia School Board's major challenges in the next 4 years, and how would you address them?
Well, other than K-12 funding.
Right. Okay.
Well, right now we have a huge challenge because we are thankfully reducing class sizes by a lot. The class size initiative requires that we do that, and it's starting to be implemented. It's going to be implemented in phases. So we are going to have to be doing a lot of building here in Olympia, and there's a bond that's going to be coming up in this winter that's going to be presented to Olympia voters, and I think it's really important for we as a community to approve that bond and to start that process happening. Right now, what they're thinking about doing is, or what is probably going to happen, they're going to put extra classrooms at every school. So I think there's a big push for, I mean, there's a need for building right now. And that's a challenge. Let's see. When I think I have time, I don't. Other challenges, well, I think the main thing is that I would like to see happen is more equality of opportunity and leveling out of the resources available to different kids at different schools. Right now we have some really beautiful facilities and some that really need help. We have one large choice school that's really, really great, but it's not serving all the kids in the district. So I would like to see more of an even playing field in terms of facilities.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Joellen, I'll repeat the question for you. Other than K-12 funding, what do you see as the Olympia School Board's major challenges in the next 4 years, and how would you address them? That's 1 minute.
Okay, thanks. So population growth and the construction that's going to result within our school district, I see as a major issue. It impacts equity and it requires our attention right now. As our community grows in population, there will be a need to balance the resources within the district so all students see equal opportunities for success. And this work goes hand in hand with the board's strategic plan to close the achievement gap, because with more resources comes more opportunities for students to succeed.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to you, Joellen, for the next question. Do you think the district needs additional approaches to ensure that special populations are successful and can graduate from high school? Two-part question. If so, what would you support?
Okay.
2 minutes.
All right. So over the summer and even into this last month, I've spent time visiting 18 of our schools. We have 19 separate facilities right now, and met with administrators. And I had the opportunity to learn about a lot of the programs that exist in our district, but I still have a lot to learn. So I am sure there are populations that we are not reaching and meeting every need that's out there. And so my vision for that would be to make sure that our board meetings and our public forums are not the only avenues for people to engage, and that we look towards new and creative ideas to make sure all voices are heard in the community and that all populations are being heard and have a place at the table to get the services that they need. Some of the programs that exist that are showing success include the Freedom Farmer program at Olympia High School, which takes students into the program. They go and farm at the farm, and it's part of their daily curriculum as a high school student. Avanti serves needs of different populations and students who may need more support as they move towards graduation. And Capitol High School partners with Grub on the west side to provide another hands-on farming experience. And I'm sure there are many other programs that I'll learn about as I work on the board. And there will be many other ways that we can make sure that all students have the opportunity to achieve and graduate. So,
Okay, thank you. Jessica, I'll repeat the question
Thanks.
for you. Do you think the district needs additional approaches to ensure that special populations are successful and can graduate from high school? And if so, what would you support?
Well, we have 2 graduation specialists right now, one in Capitol High and one in Olympia High School, working on helping kids who have challenges get to graduation and graduate. And I think that that's a really great effort and a good idea. I think identifying those kids early, the board recently approved some funds to look at kids in middle school and identify which kids might need some help. I think that's a great way of doing it. I was super impressed by the principal of Washington Middle School, who we saw a presentation of with the other night, and they give a survey to the kids to make sure that the kids are, or to see which adults the kids are connecting with. And the kids that say they're not connecting with any adult, they go and talk to them and try to hook them up with a trusted adult. I think that's a really great way of making connection.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, give you the next question. Do you think the Olympia School District has an adequate program in place for reducing the dropout rate?
Well, that's related to the last question. And I'm not sure if they have a separate program that addresses that's different from the graduation specialists. I think that one thing that the Olympia School District needs, and elementary principals have told me this, is they need more counseling and support services. I know that in my experience as a student, counseling and support services were vital to kids' success in school, and I think they are now. I would love to see more of that in the classroom and out of the classroom. And I think, you know, that story that I just mentioned, or that example that I just mentioned about identifying which kids are connected to adults that they trust and finding those who aren't, is a great way of reducing dropout rates. Just connecting with kids and focusing on community at each of the schools, I think, is the best thing we can do.
Okay, thank you. Joellen, same question. I'll repeat it for you. Okay, do you think the Olympia School District has an adequate program in place for reducing the dropout rate?
Thanks. So the programs that I know that are in place, I already spoke about, which are the hands-on farming programs and Avanti High School's programs. I know that the board is committed to reducing the dropout rate and closing the achievement gap. Those are two things that the board has committed to through the strategic plan. And I know that when I get on the board, I will learn more about what is being done, but I also will advocate for making sure that we are connecting the students every step of the way throughout the system to make sure that they have the relationships they need and they are leveraged to succeed.
Okay, Joellen, thank you. Okay, it's time now for the candidates' closing statements, and you'll get a minute for your closing statements. So, Joellen, let's start with you on that one.
All right.
Okay.
I know that all students come to the classroom with different sets of tools and experiences. I also know that talent is universal. It will be my responsibility to ensure, I also know that everyone has talent. Talent is universal, but it will be my responsibility to ensure that opportunity is as well. I have the energy to explore and understand complex policy issues and to bridge the opportunity gap and lead to student achievement. I thank you for your time and ask for your support to do this work. You can visit my website, electjoellenwilhelm.com, and my Facebook page at the same name, Elect Joellen Wilhelm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, your closing statement.
Well, thank you for the opportunity of being here. It's been great to hear Joellen's ideas, because I agree with all of them. You know, I think that I also want to support all students' achievement and opportunity in our schools. I think there are some inequities right now, and they need to be addressed. I come from a background of doing legal work, and I think I'd be a great addition to the board. I would facilitate conversations both among board members, but mostly between the board and the public, and the district administration. I think there's a lot of conversations that need to happen there. If anyone has questions for me, you can contact me at jessrevelis@gmail.com, or you can call me at 360-870-7172. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this brings us to the end of the forum. Thank you, candidates, and thank you, TCTV and the League of Women Voters for making this forum possible. Viewers out there, we hope that when you vote in the November 3rd general election, this information will help you make an informed decision about your candidates. Goodbye.